3 weeks from today, the August 3rd primary in the heat of summer. 21 days left till we find out who the next Democratic candidate for governor be. Will it be Lansing Mayor Verge Bernero or Speaker of the House Andy Dillon, the Democrat from Redford? He's on the other end of our line. Every second counts when we get to 3 weeks away, doesn't it, Mr. Speaker?
Yeah, hard to believe.
Yeah, what will your strategy be over the next 3 weeks other than no doze, I would think?
Yeah, we are traveling the state as much as we can. We call it a workbook tour where we lay out our plan for turning around the state and invite, thoughts and ideas from residents all across the state. We've had 5 locations here in the last week, and we'll be doing more of that until the election day.
When you go around the state like you are, do you find pockets of economic areas that are maybe not as affected as others? For instance, obviously it would be very different in the city of Detroit, where we're told that's the second worst city in America if you're looking for a job, versus, let's say, Harbor Springs.
Yeah, well, there's a little market difference between the two locations, no doubt. And there are areas where, Ann Arbor seems to be, quite resilient and withstanding, the downturn that you see in the majority of the state.
Mm-hmm. So does the message change much then? I would think that it would have to. Your message.
For me, we might have a different emphasis depending on the location we're at, but for the most part, it's, we're all in the same state here together, and, the state is not going to turn around if our cities don't turn around, and I think people appreciate and understand that. So that's where we need to get people working together. That's why I think, I'm the right leader for this time, where I do have a history of bringing both sides together to work on important policy for the state. And that's what we're going to need going forward. Speaking
of Ann Arbor, the state representative there, Rebecca Warren, is quoted in a story by Laura Berman in the Detroit News this morning saying, "When was the last time a pro-life Democratic candidate won a statewide primary?" I suppose it would be Governor Granholm, right?
I think she is pro-life, yes, but she's taken a different position in her political life, and so I don't know if that would count personally.
You are a pro-life Democrat, though, right?
That's right.
So the article talks about the benefits of life science research at the University of Michigan, stem cell research, and that sort of thing. I mean, how do you reckon the benefits of stem cell research versus your pro-life position?
Well, number one, my brother is a survivor of a stem cell transplant. It was adult stem cell, so I appreciate the importance of that science. And, the voters have spoken. It's part of our Constitution, and as a legislator or a future governor, I will always respect the Constitution and the will of the people, and I don't think that, it's up to elected representatives or the governor to thwart the Constitution.
Do you worry? Mark Brewer was in this studio about a week ago, and he said he'd spent some time in the Traverse City area and Petoskey, and he said that 70 to 90% of the people that he talked to up there were still undecided, and the latest polling that I see shows that 70% of the Democratic voters haven't decided whether they're going to pick you or whether they're going to pick Verge Bernero. Do you worry that 70% is just sort of, going to sit this one out if they don't even know by now who they're going to vote for?
No, the last number I saw was about 50%. I think that the one you're referring to, I think there's 114 respondents. To that poll. So I don't know if that poll accurately reflects it, but I still think, upwards of 50% of the people don't know the Democratic candidates. And I don't know if that's that unusual. We both waited quite some time to get up on TV, and that's where the name ID starts to change. And I think it's probably all in transition right now.
Do you talk about television? And everybody's been talking about television during the last 3 weeks here, but the television ratings typically, we just saw yesterday a report that the ratings were very, very low. In fact, the lowest in the last 16 years. Most people that buy commercials for products know that in the summertime, television doesn't work because people are on vacation. So, I mean, in this sort of modern campaigning time, are there some techniques that you're using beyond television, or do you expect really television to give you the push over the top?
I think, TV still goes a long way, and I notice that people are seeing the ads. There's a lot of comments when I'm out traveling the state, but it's making certain that we get to every region of the state and, get some local media coverage. And, we're also using the internet and social media to get the message out.
Dennis Archer, the former Detroit mayor, one time considered to be might have been a strong candidate for governor, gave you an endorsement yesterday. Why did Dennis Archer choose to endorse you?
Well, I'd like you to ask him that, but I
I'm going to.
It wasn't just easily given endorsement. I've met with him on numerous occasions, and he wanted to make certain that we had the right plan to turn around the state. He was very focused on what my urban agenda was, which we have a very detailed urban agenda, and it will be a high priority for me as governor, because I don't believe, we'll turn the state around if our cities aren't healthy, and if every kid doesn't have an opportunity for great education, that won't be a success in my eyes as governor. So he was very focused on the quality and the breadth of the urban agenda. And he also believes that, I have the right disposition to be the next governor and bring people together. In fact, I will model myself much the way he operated as mayor of Detroit. He had some bridge building to do with the outer suburbs of Wayne County and Oakland County. And he did a great job of bridging that divide between the suburb and the city, and he laid great foundations, for the rebirth of the city in some ways. He's responsible in large part for, the beginnings of Comerica Park and for Ford Field and the renovation of Campus Martius. He, was a bridge builder, and I think that's what the state's going to need going forward. I think the residents have had enough of the partisan fighting and the gridlock. They want to see us get the state moving forward.
Travel safely, Speaker Dillon. Thanks for the time this morning. 3 weeks from today, the Michigan primary, August 3rd. If you haven't decided yet, you got 21 days to make up your mind, and maybe he helped you there a little bit, maybe not.